What if you could explore a path that leads through France's most charming and scenic vineyards and villages? Did you know that Alsace is home to the oldest wine route in the country?
Behind me is Colmar.
Speaking of journeys, ours begins in the beautiful city of Basel. Before we hit the road to explore Alsace, there's one thing I've been really looking forward to: picking up our car rental.
And I am very, very happy. This has been a car that I've been wanting to drive for so long, and it was the same price as a normal car rental. You gotta love environmentally conscious countries.
I saw the keys right away.
I consider it the Tesla car company of Europe. I think it's a Swedish one. How is it? Here we go. Oh yeah. You can tell it's owned by Volvo. You know how? By seeing especially in the back, the air conditioning vents have the classic.
Oh, and Polestar, the logo actually looks like a V.
Oh,
it's
good
two
catch. Press the brake.
There's no key?
No, you just put it in gear. Now it's on. And it comes with an Android system. That's amazing. This is not Apple CarPlay. For our first stop, we're gonna go do something that I always wanted to do. Step in 3 countries in a few seconds. So at some parts, like this one over here, you are driving with the trams. We were behind this one for a little bit. It's a little stressful because there's no stop signs, there's just yield signs. Well, it looks like I'm in Germany and Switzerland. How about you?
I'm in France. This hasn't always been a 3-country border. It is dependent on whether Alsace in France has belonged to France or Germany. So at some points, it had been just 2 countries. This symbol, they call it the pylon, symbolizes the cooperation and togetherness of the 3 states on the Upper Rhine. If you didn't have it here, you won't really think anything of it, but just the symbolism here is really fascinating and really interesting to see. And Alsace over here has belonged to France since 1945 after World War II, and has been that way since. So since 1945, we've had the 3-country border.
And with that being said, let's go to France.
Yay! And now we are in France!
What a relief. We got out of Basel. Not gonna lie, it was a bit stressful figuring out where to go with a GPS and all the trams coming at you. You have bikes. The plan was to originally do another organized tour like we did with Gruyere yesterday. If you haven't watched that video, it's a good one. But unfortunately, we couldn't do the organized tour because we only had today to do this. The tours are specific days. We're basically gonna do the same tour, just with driving. If you are coming here and after experiencing how much more relaxed the organized tour was to driving and figuring out things yourself, I think the organized tour might be the best option. So we basically just went to the This is Basel website and we're kind of copying that itinerary. So our first stop will be the Koenigsbourg Castle. I'm excited. The Gruyere Chateau just left a very good taste. I'm curious to see how this one will compare. And of course, we are in a wine region, so we are going to be stopping by in a small town and doing some wine tasting.
The scenery around the castle is just stunning. Have the black forest in the back. You can see little lakes and rivers. The first mention of the castle dates back to the 1100s. Koenigsbourg Castle has a long and complex history, beginning with its first structure in the 12th century. Originally built as a strategic fortress, it eventually fell to ruins due to warfare and time. In the 15th century, a second castle rose from the ruins, but like its predecessor, it too succumbed to destruction during the 30 Years' War. Finally, in the early 20th century, the third and current version of Koenigsbourg Castle was meticulously restored by the German Empire.
This castle was restored by William II, King of Prussia and Emperor of Germany. This is where artillery would go in.
It's amazing to think about how big these castles are and how many people actually lived here. They were almost like a small village within an enclosed building. It's incredible.
Probably where they wash the dishes.
Yeah.
It's a nice big sink.
I know,
Probably where they stored all their wine from the region.
Wow. When William II refurbished the castle, he didn't want it to be like an imperial residence as we know of castles. He wanted it to be more of a museum of the Middle Ages, as well as a symbol of the restored empire and the German history of Alsace.
Just the amount of detail in this room is incredible. Wow. I love the paintings that take up the entire wall. Almost every big room has had one of these, and I just realized what it is. There's a little door right here. This is the heating unit for each room, but it just looks so grand.
I noticed this when we were upstairs and looked down how they have an upper garden, and I found that very fascinating.
Koenigsbourg Castle has seen centuries of warfares and defense, and its armory reflects that. Inside, you'll find a collection of medieval weapons that once protected the fortress. The castle's towering walls, designed to withstand cannon fire, were constructed in the 15th century with thickened stone, offering formidable protection. After soaking in the history of Koenigsbourg Castle, we're ready for the next part of our day. Let's head out and gather some supplies for a picnic in the Alsatian countryside.
Before we came to Alsace, all we really knew was about the towns we would be visiting, and we didn't know too much about the surrounding countryside. We knew that it was wine country here, but we didn't expect for so much of the landscape to just be vineyards and rolling landscapes everywhere. It's so beautiful, it's so peaceful just driving through. First, we start with dessert.
Olivia is very excited with the yogurt section in France. She read about it and she loves yogurt, and all of this is yogurt.
We got all the foods. Now we are looking for some Alsatian wine. Wow, this whole section is Alsatian wine. I've just found the perfect picnic spot. So apparently you can go into the Vineyard trails and find a spot and have a picnic. So that's what we're gonna do.
This feels so special. It's just there's nobody here. It's just so picturesque.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Like all around us, 360 views.
Castles everywhere.
Oh my God, we don't know which way to sit. Wines without the cork, so this is something I've been wanting to try because this is the champagne of here. So champagne is called champagne because of a region in France. So this is called Cremant d'Alsace. It's this region sparkling wine, and it's a nice small bottle that we can try because we'll be going back to Ribeauville and doing some wine tasting after we eat. Honestly, I don't think we could have found a better spot than this. And I think this bench is probably for the workers where they have lunch under the trees. There's a bunch of trails that if you yourself are somewhere in this area in Ribeauville, it's a short walk to find one of these paths. Go to the grocery store and get your own stuff, even if you have 2 hours. Ooh, that was loud. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. Better than champagne, better than Prosecco.
Wow.
Oh, because it tastes more like wine. It's just sparkling, and although it's brut, it's not extremely dry.
It smells very grapey. That's really good. And it's not too fizzy either. It's very nice. Yeah, and it actually has a strong grape taste. Unlike some wines are so dry or so sweet, they lose the grape flavor.
Let's start with some of the cheese from the region.
There are quite a few, but a lot of them seem to be quite stinky cheeses, which we're not too crazy about. But we found this herb cream cheese spread, which looks really good with herbs. It's very soft and creamy. And this, an Alsatian salad, and I think it's pretty much like a mayonnaise-based salad with ham and pickles. It's very much what you would expect. Ham, mayo, pickles, but it's nice.
We also got some salmon spread. This is apparently a very classic French thing to put on top of your crackers. It looks like cat food, but I think it's gonna be delicious. And then we have a tuna spread as well. Olivia has been talking about this tuna spread. Very curious to try this. She loves it. Yeah, and it's not even too fishy. It has like a good balanced flavor. Okay, let's try the salmon. That's nice too, and if you mix it, I think with some of the cheese, that will be fantastic. I'm so grateful for this life. I'm taking a bite and I'm looking at the castle we're just at. Earth is so beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4 castles just right in front of me. I don't even have to turn around like that. And this is a vegan brand that I haven't seen before. Maybe it's French. It's salami. This one is rated A versus the one Olivia got is rated E.
A lot of European products use the Nutri-Score system. It's a simple way to understand how healthy a food product actually is. It uses a color-coded scale. A indicates the healthiest option, while E represents the least healthy. The score is based on the balance of nutrients like fat, sugars, protein, and fiber. And speaking of nutrition,
so now it's time for dessert. Unfortunately, we dropped both the spoon and the fork, so we are going to be eating chocolate mousse with knife.
Or eat the chocolate mousse with the Madeleine.
Oh, that's good. I like your thinking. So we got Madeleine with chocolate praline.
Wish I had a coffee now. It's really good, and the chocolate is so nice. I love how it actually has a piece of chocolate on top.
Some milk chocolate mousse. And look at these. Oh my God, I want to bring them back.
We are.
They're so cute. We don't have room, Olivia.
I'll put it in my pocket.
I don't know what to say. From the texture of it to the chocolate flavor, just wow. The consistency is so good. It's not overly sweet. Good thing we have two, Olivia. There you go.
You know how to do chocolate, you know how to do desserts, friends.
That was an amazing meal. Now we gotta start working an appetite for the next regional thing we're gonna be having for dinner. Had a bit of an accident with the chocolate mousse. But what I gotta say is like, these pants have been so impressive. I've been wearing them throughout the trip, and I had chocolate mousse fall on them. The sparkling wine we just had fall on them, and nothing. I love these pants because they can look nice, but they are as comfy as casual pants. I think these have just become my new favorite travel pants. Being around this area, we see a lot of little tractors that I've never seen before. They're so tiny. That's how narrow these little tractors are. They just go in this. You can see like if I stretch my arm, they are so cute.
Immediately when we start walking into the center of the town, it is so beautiful and charming. And I don't think the backdrop could get any more scenic with the castle, the hills.
The town of Ribeauville is just so picturesque. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this before. The specific architecture that seems to be closer to German rather than French. And most of the buildings that surround us have been from the 15th century to the 18th century. The town currently has about 5,000 inhabitants. You can tell that winemaking is a big contributor of the local economy.
Something I really appreciate when we're traveling is visiting towns and cities that aren't really marketing towards a huge tourist infrastructure, and you can just tell things are very local. It feels very authentic.
We didn't mind a wine tasting per se, but a lot of the cafes and restaurants have small. This is a 12 CL, so it's €4 per glass to have a wine from the region. This is Riesling, so let's see. Oh, that's nice. Maybe it's Muscat though.
Is it sweeter? Mm-hmm. That's probably why. Like Riesling's a bit drier side, but it has fruity.
Yeah, this is Riesling. Oh my God, the wines here, they're dry, yet they have so much fruit taste. And then Pinot Noir. That's nice too, but I think my favorite was the Muscat.
Mine's the Riesling. I think Riesling's become one of my favorite wines on this trip that we've tried in Basel so far. And no, I'm really excited to try one, the local Riesling. Very nice. I like the flavor in the back of it. It's not too sweet, it's not too dry.
From the Cremant we tried to all these wines, and they don't seem to be very expensive wines. And from the research we've been doing, they're really well priced wines, and the quality is excellent.
We've just arrived and you can already tell it's such an enchanting and charming, quaint town. You're going to go for a wander, try some local food, and take in the scenery. As I'm standing here and looking around and taking in the beautiful atmosphere and surroundings, I was just thinking to myself, it kind of seems like a real-life Disneyland, and that actually fits really well considering Beauty and the Beast was actually inspired by the towns of Alsace.
want to do that, don't you?
Yeah, I definitely do.
The stunning church behind me is St. Martin's Church. The building as we see it now, it was built between 1234 and 1365. But after some archaeological digging in 1972, they found that there was another church behind from the year 1000 that was built in Carolingian style. And then they found foundations of a second church that was built in Romanesque style. But today what we see is classic Gothic architecture, and it's one of my favorites. Stunning. There's so much detail. And I noticed that in this region, Gothic architecture, they have these colored tiles on top in the same color of green and brown, and it just looks so nice. Saw it in the Monster in Basel, and we also saw it in Gruyere too, the castle. Just like adds that contrast that you need, because usually these are just kind of monotone.
Seeing as we're here, it's probably important to mention some of the city's history. The first mention of Colmar goes all the way back to 873. The city continued to develop, and in the 13th century it was recognized as an imperial city. But the city didn't experience its golden age until the 15th and 16th centuries, where it found wealth thanks to its merchants, agriculture, and winemaking industry. The most important time in the 20th century for the people of Colmar was in February 1945, which ended the Battle of the Colmar Pocket, which was an area of Alsace that was held by the German army and was finally liberated. And today, Colmar is the really vibrant city that you can see today, and is the unofficial capital of the Alsatian wine route, which is the oldest wine route in France.
Like, tell me this is not in a Disney movie or theme park.
Like even the little hearts carved out.
This part of town, they also call it Little Venice because of the canal that goes through it. They have canal tours, and at some parts, there's even houses built right on the canal, just like Venice. We found this really small but well-reviewed restaurant off a side street. So make sure you make reservations because everything's very busy. We gotta have tarte flambée. It's one of the foods they're most known for. In fact, when I lived in the US, I would buy from the grocery store tarte flambée, and it was imported from the region. When I found out we're coming here, I was ecstatic to try the actual thing. It's so paper thin, it's a very thin dough, and the classic has onion, cream, and bacon. Mine has exactly that, plus some Emmental cheese. Let's see. That is so good. Wow. And apart from winemaking, this region has a lot of good beer too. So we got two different ones that are from this region. And this one is quite unique. I've never had anything like this before. It's an amber, and when you drink it, it has the normal taste of an amber beer, but at the end, it almost gives you some aftertaste of spices, but like an intense flavor of it. So it took me by surprise when I first tried it.
I'm having a bit of a love affair with chives in France, so I ordered the tarte flambée with chives and onions, and it smells amazing. And I love how it's just a small place. They're making it right behind us. Something so simple can be so delicious because the ingredients are so good and such high quality.
The dough is fantastic. Wow, so crispy and so much flavor too. It's insane.